Welcome back to a brand new episode of Geek Nation. I'm Michael Allen.
I'm Gabriela Garcia.
And this week we have your Fact or Fiction 5 segment.
A brand new Geek Nation Conversation.
And an interesting yet fun brand new segment. We are going to start off the show with something different today as we recognize something we like to call Geek Streaks.
For this week, it took 19 innings last night, but the Cleveland Indians made it 14 wins in a row on Friday night. Congratulations to them. It's never too early to think fantasy football, and Cleat Geeks has you covered. In a series of informative articles, our fantasy football fanatic Zach Brunner now has articles posted on the top quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, kickers, and his next article will feature defense and special teams. To find these articles from our homepage, go to the Field Geeks tab, then football and fantasy football.
41-year-old relief pitcher Joe Nathan signed a minor league contract with the Chicago Cubs earlier this season, and now has begun a minor league rehab assignment with AA Tennessee. Recovering from Tommy John elbow surgery in his 15-year MLB career, he has 377 saves, which is good enough for 8th all time. The question is, how many All-Star games has Nathan been a part of? The answer and a little more on Joe Nathan later in the show.
Last week's Twitter poll question was, which of these three players would you be the angriest if your favorite MLB team traded for them? A-Rod, Ryan Braun, or Jose Reyes? 29% said A-Rod, 35% said Ryan Braun, and 36% said Jose Reyes.
This week's Twitter poll question is, do you still consider the Dallas Cowboys as America's team?
Make sure you go to our Twitter @_GeekNation_ and vote on the poll. Now it's time for Fact or Fiction 5. The Dodgers will make the playoffs even if Clayton Kershaw misses significant time this season. Fact or fiction?
Fact. They'll make it. They're a well-rounded team, young stars, good pitching. I don't see them missing the playoffs.
All right. I will listen to sports on the radio while I grill out sometime this weekend. Fact or fiction?
I don't know about listening, but I'm definitely going to watch, even if that means I have to bring the TV outside.
Yeah.
I will watch a game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I'm going to watch it on TV. I have the luxury of having an outdoor patio and a TV back there, so I get to watch the Cubs games this weekend.
The Chicago Bulls will have a better NBA record this season than the New York Knicks. Fact or fiction?
That's fiction. The New York Knicks have really been rolling in free agency. They're just going to be better than the Bulls. The Bulls are rebuilding, so I just think the Knicks are going to be better.
I'm going to say they're going to be tied. They're going to have the same record. Rose and Noah, you can't really trust them anymore with your team, and with the season Melo has had the past couple of years, the Knicks aren't really good. The only good person on that team, I think, is Porzingis. So I say they're going to be tied with the same record.
All right. The Denver Broncos, coming off a victory at Super Bowl 50, now have a decision to make on who should be their starting quarterback. Jonathan Larson talks about this in the debut of his new weekly article, Mile High Magic. Therefore, Mark Sanchez will be the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos Week 1. Fact or fiction?
Mark who? Mark Sanchez will get the start Week 1, so I am going to say fact. I don't see them starting a rookie.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Coming off of that Super Bowl win, they're definitely going to go with a veteran quarterback.
We would be remiss if we did not mention the weekly article called Top 10 Thursday, written by someone on this set right now. This person ranks the top 10 MLB teams each week for Cleat Geeks. This week marks the first week that the Chicago Cubs have not been number 1. And the question is, the Chicago Cubs will continue to slip and will have a losing record in the second half of the season. Fiction or fiction? I mean fact or fiction?
That's going to be fiction. The Cubs will come back after the break. Every team goes through slumps. We see it with winning teams all the time. Can't win them all. They have a great manager carrying the team. They have great veterans on the team with rookies. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Still the best record in baseball.
Still the best record, yes. And I do have to say that after the second half of last year, the Cubs just went on a tear. And they're continuing that. If you look at the second half from last year up until this half right now, they're like 108 wins and only 52, 53 losses. So they're an outstanding team, and after the second half, they're just going to take it all away.
I know a certain someone doesn't like us bringing up last year, but it's true. And the Cubs started off last year losing, and everyone's like, oh, here we go again. And then look what happened. They were in the postseason, and they started better this season. So there's only one way to go for the Cubs, and that's up. Let's go back to our Think Tank trivia question of how many times Joe Nathan has been a part of an All-Star team. He has been selected to 6 All-Star teams, but he has never pitched in a World Series. Nathan said earlier this season the possibility of pitching in a World Series was the main reason he signed with Chicago. We here at Cleat Geeks have declared this 4th of July weekend minor league weekend. So let's talk about the minor leagues of sports for a few moments. That will bring us to the Geek Nation Conversation. First question, do you enjoy going to minor league sports games?
Of course, I mean, it's family friendly, it's easy on your wallet, and at the same time, you're still going to a major league game, no matter what sport it is, because you're seeing their future stars play.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. You're seeing the future, and you could go there and you could have gone there a couple years ago and saw like people like Chris Bryant and now who was dominating the major league. So it's always fun. Do you think there is more fan interaction at minor league games?
Yes, it's definitely kid and family friendly. I mean, there's a lot of on the field activities during the innings, and there's also just times when kids get to parade around, there's a fireworks show, things like that. I think it's more driven towards family friendly and like schools.
Yeah, and I definitely think they have a lot of theme days that are very fun. They also have themed jerseys, which are pretty cool. You see like Nickelodeon shows and emoji jerseys, so I think that's pretty fun as well. Do you think the minor leagues allow the casual fan to get behind a certain player, then feel a special connection to that player when he or she is then promoted to the major leagues?
Perfect example. A few years ago, Kane County Cougars were the Class A affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, and I got the opportunity to go to a few games, and that's when I fell in love with how Dan Vogelbach played baseball. Just an outstanding ball player, and when I would go, I would just watch him because just the way he plays the game of baseball is so awesome, and I'm glad that I'm able to follow him through his minor league stint.
Yeah, I definitely think once you see that player you went to games to see all the time in the minor league, and you finally see them get called up, I think that's very exciting, especially when you follow a player for so many years and then they finally get their chance. Most larger cities have both major league and minor league sports, like Chicago, where we are both from, has the AHL's Chicago Wolves, who are a minor league hockey team for the Major League St. Louis Blues. What do they have to do to attract fans in a city like Chicago with several other major league sports?
Nothing really. It's the same exact thing that I had just said earlier. It's family friendly, and when you go to the Allstate Arena, where they play, games are usually sold out. I mean, it's an AHL game, but it's cheap for families to go to, which is perfect for nowadays. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's professional hockey, and it's I don't know how to really explain it. It's just a lot of fun going to a Wolves game. Granted, yes, the Blackhawks are probably one of Chicago's most loved teams, but Chicago Wolves and how cheap the tickets are and how fun games can be is really awesome. Plus, players, when I was a kid, they would go to like the library or they would go to like certain places and they would talk about their experience. They would read, and they do read kids' books. You see it all the time with minor league teams on their social media, just how interactive their players are with the fans off the ice or field.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Like I said, they have theme nights. They also have deals on food, which is, parents are attracted to that because then they get to feed their kid and their kid gets to enjoy a game. And, kids might not know a lot about sports, but I think they get excited when they get to go to things like that, especially if after the game, the players are out there meeting with fans, and that really excites the kid, especially if, one day they end up in the major leagues and then you get to say that you met them. We often say that fans will support a winning sports team. Therefore, would you rather attend a game of a winning minor league sports team or a losing major league sports team, and why?
I really don't have a preference. I mean, if it's my favorite major league team and they're losing, I would attend them. And if it's a minor league team that's winning, I'll attend it too. I don't really have a preference. I mean, It's the game that I love to watch. It's a game that I love to play, and it's just a fun experience either way you go to.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. If, you get the opportunity to go where your favorite team is losing, I'm still going to go. I still cheer on a team if they're losing. If they're my favorite team, I'm cheering them on no matter what. And if I got an opportunity to go to a minor league team and they were winning, yeah, I'd go. I mean, I don't really have a preference, like you said.
We want your feedback on your minor league experience. Send us your thoughts, ideas, and stories to the email address below. And your words may make it onto one or more of our social media platforms.
Don't just watch us every week. Make sure you go to cleatgeeks.com to read the articles every week as well.
And go to all of our social media platforms, Twitter @CleatGeeks and @_Geek Nation _, and also like us on Facebook @CleatGeeks and Geek Nation. And that's going to do it for this episode of Geek Nation. I'm Michael Allen.
And I'm Gabriela Garcia.
And have a very safe holiday weekend.